Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Alderman Lee in the 11th Ward. It is Tuesday, September 23rd. We're here at the Ramova Theater Loft for a community meeting regarding a proposal from which is a street festival that's held in different parts of Chicago. They are interested in coming to the 11th Ward, which I appreciate the interest. As with all of my community meetings, this is being recorded and we will share this online with the rest of the community. We have these meetings to ask questions for the person who's asking for the permission to have the festival to make their pitch to all of you, the constituents, the neighbors that live in the area, the businesses that are here, and for issues and concerns to be raised and to allow them the opportunity to respond to that. So with that, I'm going to continue to manage the Zoom room from here, but I'll hand it over to Tyler. And then he can introduce Fletch.
Yeah, super quick. My name's Tyler Davis. My wife and I are two of the owners of Ramova. And we initially met Fletch about a month and a half, 2 months ago, when he said he was looking for a new location to have this event. To be clear, this would primarily be outside of Ramova and not affiliated outside of the evening events where we support here. But what impressed me about Fletch was the first things he mentioned was the importance of safety and all the things that I know the community is worried about, having been open for a few years. But also his big focus on working with neighborhood businesses. Wherever Fletch has gone in the past, he said he's really focused on supporting neighborhood businesses and folks like that. So if we did something out in the streets, it would really benefit a lot of the folks around Bridgeport, which I think Emily and I agree is really important to the community, especially with how tough things been lately. But I'm gonna help with questions and stuff Fletch and I have talked about. Otherwise, I'll hand it over to Fletch, who will just take you through a Motoblot and what he's thinking about.
And Fletch, if you can stand like right here,
Sure.
that way people on the Zoom can see you.
All right.
All right.
I was not.
Hi, everybody, I'm Fletch. I'm the founder of Motoblot, which we started back in 2014. It actually started even before that. It started in 2005 as an event called Mods versus Rock in Chicago, which was basically kind of a throwback event to the 60s, which specialized in scooters and categories for motorcycles. Had a lot of getting deep into the weeds about motorcycle culture. In 2014, I teamed up with Cobra Lounge and Sean McHugh, who was the owner of Cobra Lounge, one of the founders of Riot Fest. And we formed Motoblot in 2014. And we've been doing Motoblot basically at Cobra Lounge on Halsted Street. We did it there for 10 years. The neighborhood there is changing pretty rapidly, West Halsted Street, and the entire block across the street from Cobra Lounge is basically gonna be renovated into rumors last year was gonna be Cook County Medical Examiner's facility, but I think that deal fell through. But long story short is that it's gonna turn into a kind of a construction zone over there. And it's probably not gonna be conducive what's gonna be happening there to continue the event on Fulton Street. But last year we kind of moved it over to Salt Shed for 1 year. Didn't really feel the vibe there that we had on Fulton Street. And I was kind of searching for a new neighborhood or a new area that I thought we could work with the neighborhood, work with the businesses, have a anchor location for the Ramova Theater. You know, we found that it was actually suggested to me by a friend. And when I saw the Ramova Theater and what was happening here, I'm like, well, this is perfect with the street, with like parlor. This couple of blocks right here seem like it was right for a festival like this. I know there's a lot of kind of hot rod motorcycle junkies that live on the south side. Because I've met and talked to a lot of them, so it just seems like this would be a good spot. You know, we've got some other options, but this is kind of our first choice, and that's why we were having this meeting so early, because we need to make a decision whether or not this is going to be a good fit for Motoblot next year. Because basically we're trying to go on sale on Black Friday, so we need to book bands and we need to be up and running. You know, basically in like 6 weeks. You know, with an announcement where we're going to be next year. So we're a little bit up against that on a timeline, but like I said, we love the neighborhood, love to work with great people at that Ramova ultimately, and these great businesses on the street. We want to embrace the neighborhood, and we want the neighborhood to embrace the event. So we want it to work for everybody. And if you guys don't think it's going to work for us, you know, just let us know your concerns. And if it's not going to work, you know, we'll find another location. But we definitely want to be here and we'd love to work with you. So open to questions, neither Kyle or the all.
Why don't I jump in with a couple, having, lived here for a while now, because we don't just sell it, we live on 30, so we don't just come in, put a cool shows. Some of the original things that I told Fletch we needed to focus on that we've really stressed, Renova, be parking. We're gonna have a lot of people coming in, and the plan for parking would be, got 55 spots across the street, though that would probably be overwhelmed pretty quickly. Vendors and other folks might be using that as well. So we've got the showers lot that we've commonly used, which has another 120 spots. After the 120 spots, some of our investors are the Joby family and Chris Wong and ADG, so we've got additional parking west on 35th. And then lastly, we've obviously got the Sox lot. We had Sox Fest here last year. We're good friends with them. And we could explore shuttle options as well. And I know you've got a great relationship with Reggie's, so we talked about buses to and from, keep folks off the streets. Other questions that came up were neighborhood businesses. We know there's some other, more nuanced conversations, but largely what Fletch shared was first and foremost, we'll reach out for, Fletch works with neighborhood vendors to give them an opportunity to participate in the festival. So it should hopefully be, positive for vendors that can, be out there and have stands. And for vendors that are on the street, we'll work with Fletch, the local vendors will work with Fletch to make sure there's access to those businesses. So if anyone's getting their hair done or things like that, obviously do everything to make sure they let a heads up and it wouldn't negatively impact you. And again, if you want to start doing haircuts on the street, maybe we'll maybe figure that out too. But that was local vendors. Second is security and just how important that is. I think we demonstrated we do a pretty good job of security at Remova. We collaborate with Fletch on the shows that happen inside. And then he's obviously been able to do this in much larger locations such as Salt Shed and other places. So we're not too concerned there, because again, he's got decades of experience. It's not a first year festival. We've also been speaking closely with Officer Aldana and the local police representatives. They're enthusiastic to say the least, and Officer Aldana is actually a member of the local police motorcycle group. And they want to participate. We'll have some community engagement for local PD too, which should be pretty fun. Hours was something else that was discussed. Construction. This would not happen on Chicago White Sox game. So Josh, you're good. It will be, we've already got their schedule. We make sure we're booking around that. And then hours of operation. This is one I can't remember as much, but we made an effort to ensure that we would be off the street, the loud motorcycles and things like that would be off the street. People would be inside for the last shows of the night, which meant hopefully we're minimizing the disruption on people in the community that just want to sleep or do those types of things. So there's always going to be more trash and those considerations we can handle in spades. Chris Rowe, our venue GM, we've done a bunch of outdoor events and we've got Flood Brothers that we've already contacted to ensure we can handle it. So trash is always a big one. We're confident, again, we can handle that with the uptick in service that we needed for the weekend.
Yeah, we work with a festival company that basically provides staging, barricades. I also work with a private security company that's basically off-duty police, that have worked on the festivals in the past. Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, setting up on Friday daytime, maybe having the doors at 5 p.m. on Friday. Having the music outside until like 9 p.m. and then it moves inside the Renova on all 3 days, but Saturday, Sunday, was like noon until 9 p.m. And then Thursday we move it to the Renova and then it'd be allowed to.
What time is going to start?
Was that?
What time it start?
It would start on Friday, we would start setting up during the day and start at noon. Start at 5, and Saturday and Sunday we traditionally start like most street festivals from like noon until 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.
So what happened to the people on the businesses around here? They gotta close it down on Friday because there is no traffic moving.
Well, no, they don't have to close, they don't have to close on.
Well, if you're gonna set up, how are you gonna set up?
Well, what we can do is we can fence, as we're setting up, your business can stay open, obviously.
Where my customers gonna park?
They're gonna have to park on some of the side
Okay,
streets.
so that's not acceptable to me because I was.
We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
We know your concerns. Does anyone else have any questions?
There's one.
Okay, who's gonna be in charge of cleaning up after that?
Well, we'll
That's our
have,
biggest problem.
we'll have we'll
And the remover is not doing a good job, okay? Just let you know.
we'll have a
So
cleaning.
unless somebody is from outside is
We have,
going to be here 24/7
We
or
bring it-
whatever it is.
let me speak, we'll bring out an outside cleaning crew.
Okay.
And they were responsible for that. They don't leave the site each day until all the trash is collected and thrown away. We basically rent dumpsters specifically for the festival that will be back in the alley. Everything will be, all the trash will be taken care of, and we won't leave the site until the street is completely clean each day. Yes,
But you have a question in the back. Kevin,
Sure.
you have a question in the-
yes.
Mine was just, has anyone been to a Motoblot?
Show of hands, everybody bid the motor?
It's- I think the thing is, it's not a biker game type of thing, it's rockabilly. Community, family. It's fun people watching. It's people that have custom bikes and hot rods and. It's because when you see the picture, you think it's like Halsted.
Yeah, I don't call it like it's an enthusiast, motorcycle enthusiasts attend this event. It's not what they call like a luncheon center event.
The gentleman right behind you had his hand up. Sir, go ahead. No, yep, you.
Yep.
Alright, Fletch, I think my question is for Tyler.
Sure.
I'm Jimmy Ganell, we built a home right across the street.
Okay.
Mhm. When are you gonna extend a good neighbor policy like the electric funeral home, put up a 6-foot privacy fence for us? Cause we can't deal with all the parking, all the shenanigans that goes on at any event or anytime your parking lot is open. The bar put up a nice privacy fence, why don't you do the same for us here on that side of the.
You're on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, right over
Okay, and this is the first time we've granted the issues over there. That doesn't seem too.
there. And there's quite a bit of garbage.
Okay,
It's not deposited in repository, which was one of our garages.
we have seen some of that. Like, so Danny finished the same work with Danny Dolphin, we cleaned up in the.
One mentioned.
Okay, but no, that's, so you're saying there, like, sounds like that might be a little bit separate, but like, to be considered with this as well.
Well,
You just got noise.
it's gonna hold balance, we're all in favor of the transfer, in favor of all the revitalizing, Halsted Street. But a privacy fence would help us tremendously.
Okay.
It's,
Like a
It's
6
garbage gets thrown everywhere, even the big shop just throws their stuff, they should have their receptacles somewhere else besides in front of our garages.
Okay,
Well, we wanna make sure that if there's a cleanup policy after the fest, that kind of extends beyond the immediate boundaries. I mean, you don't have to clean up the entire neighborhood, but, you know, the corresponding alleys, we wanna make sure that was. We wanna make sure that security monitored the alleys.
Yeah.
Because we know, people will congregate their party afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, we just wanna make sure that, that delineation of the festival is more gray than just black and white.
Right.
Our homes are directly behind the parking lot.
Yeah.
So
We're next to each other.
right,
okay,
Yeah.
so I think our kind of concern is just, we're, first of all, I'm for this. I
Yeah.
feel like, your website, it looks cool, it's awesome, if we're here, we'll be there every day.
Awesome.
But that just, only thing is, I'm just concerned because there is no barrier between the alley and the parking lot.
Yeah.
So, how does it,
That's still, yeah, we don't want the festival moving in.
moving into the alley?
We like to put our trash can and our recycling cans in our garage.
okay.
That's unacceptable.
No, it totally is, and I'm sorry, Fletch, this is.
Oh, no, it's fine.
This is, you know,
Hey, this is all good.
This is security stuff we go through. We're still working on this, like, to be clear. So we started, we didn't do anything. We had the garbage cans outside. We would have our folks go up and down to clean up the tabs, the pull tabs, the stuff that come off the bracelets. That's where we started. Then we realized with Jim and Kuna primarily, they provided feedback pretty actively to start, still do. But there was, beer cans and things like that in front of the Daily Insurance Building and then in front of their building. So then we started going up and trying to clean this side of the street after every show with our hourly staff, the door folks will then clean up the street. Then we realized there's like nitrous groups of people that are no way affiliated with us, but issues. So then we started cleaning up our side of the street and the other side of the street after every show. Pete had an issue because there was a food truck that left after, he asked the food truck to stop selling. That upset them, so they cleaned up, and then once we left, they threw garbage outside of the vehicle because they were pissed at us. And we didn't catch it for 3 hours, didn't have coverage. Yours sounds very, I get it, that is new. And we have usually 1 to 2 people in the parking lots, probably need to look at figuring something else out. Yeah, we'll keep working on it.
This is a great idea. This is not, an issue that we were previously aware of. It's not that we're raising.
Yeah, so, we,
I've written.
it's, yeah, you have, I mean, and I've gotten your communication, Jim.
We'll work on it.
The
I mean,
fence
thank you.
would be great, I mean, if you can't, the fence would keep the garbage out, would keep it out of the alley, and I think that would be like an immediate sort of solution to that,
Okay.
and then,
Just to
yeah.
balance, I wanna, like, we can't get, financial considerations are still very much a focus for us too, so let's look at how economically we can figure something out and we'll work.
And in the meantime, if you can make sure that that regularly is trash pickup, in that alley, especially on that. Okay, great, and then you also have people that park down, in the old showers lot.
Yep.
So you can make sure that your staff is picking
Clean
up
that up.
in that alley, not just the alley, but I happen to be walking, I walked over here on Saturday.
Yep.
And I noticed, a lot of like cartons, like adult drink cartons, just like
Yep.
along the fence line. So if we can make sure that we cover the distance there, that would be amazing.
We're gonna work on it, there's still gonna, like, I walked around, and again, we live on 34th, we walked down Litwanica, and 35th. There were a bunch of Monaco cans after one of our shows, I'm sure it was from the people that came to our show right before they came in. At some point, you know, we're paying people $25-30 an hour, you know, we just gotta figure out how we do that, you know.
And that might be, we need to get some other wire baskets along the path here so that
Yeah.
people can just be encouraged to throw them into receptacles versus throw them on the ground. A suggestion, just as like a in-between fix potentially for your lot is maybe get some chicken wire that runs along the bottom so that, because right now it's just like a little barrier, except there's a gap in between, so that could keep some of the additional trash from flying into the alley.
One thing for the fest, would you use the parking lot for parking, or would that be part of the activities, like, would you put a stage there, or would you put like a beer tent there? Because if you were to do that, which is fine, we would just ask that like a temporary barrier doesn't be put
Sure.
up, because obviously that's a great space if you wanted to have like that as like a main stage or a beer tent.
Yeah.
Or just put up some temporary fencing so to get.
The tolerance.
I mean, we're not sure how it's gonna be laid out. Yeah, one of my thoughts, and which would be, it would be a good use of that lot would be for the car show.
Well, yeah,
So it would be like custom cars, you know, classic
right, but I
cars.
mean, just so to keep,
You know.
keep the people
Exactly.
entertained within the festival.
The good news about like car show in that lot is it would be quiet. It would just be people walking around, you know.
Would want that blocked off so that people can't sneak in over there because it's a low barrier.
Yeah.
It's very easy to climb
I
over.
mean, for that weekend, we would easily just put up a fence,
Okay.
you know, but I sounds like you guys want something more permanent.
We're not concerned about the noise.
Yeah.
That's not what we're concerned
And by
about.
the end of next year, we'll have a solution.
I mean, for the weekend, we'll be able to fence, we could easily fence that off.
We should
If it's not-
We don't.
But one of our biggest concerns obviously is we want it to go well this year because we don't wanna move every year. We wanna find a home. So we want everybody to be happy and we're really concerned about security and garbage. I mean, we hire a really great clean crew and they will clean the street and we will make sure they sweep the neighborhood, you know, every day. And the security, they not only work the event, but they work the perimeter of the event to make sure there's not fence jumpers or shenanigans going on outside of the event in the neighborhood, so, and we have like 25 or 30 security. Security is very expensive for one of those events.
Yeah.
But we demand the best, so, yeah.
There's a couple more questions,
Sure.
let you take them.
Yes,
Yeah, you started to go into it, is there, have you guys looked at alternatives to using the street? And, such as using private property to have this festival, because the street vacation sounds like a lot of trouble.
yeah, well, it's, like I said, that's kind of what makes it, I mean, I think we found at the salt shed that's where we kind of lost the vibe of the event, was not having it on the street. So we're definitely looking for a location this year where we can do it on the street. So, I mean, if we can't do it on, on Halsted Street, we probably won't do it either. If we can't close and have like the vendors, the motorcycles, the stage on the street. The lots that are in this neighborhood aren't really large enough. That would be too sectional from, the removal would be the center of the event. Along with electric funeral and the head. I mean, those are kind of like the key spots of the event. So having the street closed would be ideal. That's what we'd be looking for, yeah.
Yeah, can you talk more about your, I know you don't have this full laid out, but can you talk more about what you're thinking? About the layout, like, it's
Yeah.
a shut off, and also, this is a ticketed event. So
Yes.
again, how does that affect the businesses on this?
Right,
Because, yeah, I have a salon across the street, some of my patrons aren't
sure,
going
yeah,
to be going to the festival.
Yeah.
Is there a way to?
oh, absolutely. No, I attended some more events this summer just to kind of get an idea on that, and one of the ones I went to was on Southport, up on the north side. And what they do is they basically, there's a fence at the curb line, so basically we could fence these businesses along.
And are you thinking 35th to?
Yeah, but if you're across the street here, we could fence it so your customers wouldn't have to enter the event and come to you. They would just go straight.
I mean, we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah,
It's like I said, we could figure something out, or if you wanted your customers to come to the event and want to get their hair done, we just make sure they're on the guest list, or, figure that out, or we can fence it out so they could just come straight in. So anybody that has a business that is concerned about that, that's one
Yeah.
option.
but like, how far are?
How far south? are you
Yeah.
thinking?
Oh, we're thinking to 37, right?
36 places.
36 places, yeah.
We're talking multiple stages, like how?
Just one stage outdoors, and then the remote stage.
What we just discussed earlier was stage on 35th pointing south.
Yeah, that's a stage, kind of similar to what we did, Motoblot, when it was on Fulton Street, was at Fulton National, so the stage is basically right in front of Cobra Lounge. And then the event goes this way, so people attending the event that are riding a motorcycle or bringing a car, they will enter from the south. They're enter that way, and then pedestrians can come in, any entrance, the entrance way open that way. But yeah, so they'll have an entrance, pedestrians at 35th, but people that come with cars and bikes that are bringing into the show will enter at like 36 places. Yes.
How many people did you have attend at the last Motoblot and full market?
Whole market, we had about 1,500 people a day, 1,500 to 2,000 people a day on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So our total attendance was about 5,000, for a 3-day weekend.
And for the alderman, what is the benefit that you're hoping for the ward by those tickets?
I'm hoping that brings more people into the ward to see all that we've got going on, along Halsted here with the Remova, to bring more folks coming in to see, to look at the programming here from the concerts. I'm looking at this from an economic, activity perspective. Yes, it will be an absolute inconvenience. There's no two ways about that when you shut down a street. And those that are impacted the most are the ones that are closest to it, right? It's Pete's business, it's Jim and Kuna that live right next door, the Ganells, and all of you that live right behind here. But I am looking for also something for our community to come and like walk to as well, it's one thing if I think that the remote has done a good job of like having these community events and just opening up the space. There was a great like coffee thing on Saturday that I came to, and like more of that is coming, but we also need to draw people in more. So I would really like to see more activity that pulls people here, and I do think that a street festival, street festivals are ubiquitous in Chicago, that's summertime in the shot, right? It's a street festival. And we have, in Chinatown, the Chinatown Summer Fair is now 2 days, right? It's a whole weekend. It used to just be one night, and I live right in Chinatown. And it is something that, and think about how many businesses are all along Wentworth. And they're not all the same businesses, not everyone is a gift shop or a restaurant. The grocery store is there too. There are other businesses that line the street. And that is something that, has been going on for about 40 years now. And it's great for the neighborhood. People come in from all over the city and surrounding areas. I met people who just came to Chicago for the weekend and decided to come to Chinatown. They're like, wow, come with us every year now. I can just get off the red line. And we've got the red line is a little farther away, but we've got the number 8 bus. I know 35th, the Halsted bus is gonna have to be redirected, but there's transportation that can get people here. And it's a way to bring people together. Pete, you had a question and then I
Yes,
also who
I
else
do.
had entries.
Why can't you help use the Morgan Street instead? There is no businesses out there. There's all park, there's no traffic, no nothing. Why can't they use that? Morgan Street.
That's
next year.
Yeah.
Well,
this is-
Metal on Morgan.
To be honest with you, the idea is to have the event, work with these businesses on the street, basically, with the
And
remote
the
theater.
theater playing a big role, because
The theater,
the music was
Yeah, but only
inside.
one place benefit, and that's Ramoa. The people around here, businesses, they gonna be hurt.
We want it to benefit everybody.
So
Yeah.
But
like
they're
hear
gonna
from
be
other
hurt.
Yeah.
businesses that are in the area.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can so I think that you're totally incorrect. Bridgeport is a
What
neighborhood
business you
that's
have- What
been,
business you have in the neighborhood?
what business
In
do I?
this area, what do you have?
It doesn't really matter if I have a business
Okay,
here.
they're gonna have it in
Because
here, and they're affect my
I just,
business.
let me make my statement first, and then you can ask me what businesses I have here, okay? It's important to bring cultural development, to be part of, like any other neighborhood in Chicago has a street fest or a fair. It's a very normal activity for a neighborhood to have their own fair, street fair activity. In order for other people in the city of Chicago to visit our wonderful neighborhood, to patronize some of the businesses that are here that they didn't even know existed before. By walking through the neighborhood, by parking in the neighborhood, by coming to the neighborhood, people from out of town or out of the neighborhood or in the suburbs, wherever they're coming from, get to see a place they've never seen before, your shop, my family's bar, maybe my brewery, maybe my gallery. Maybe one of the many businesses I've helped build here over the past X amount of years, because I believe in this neighborhood as being one of the best neighborhoods in Chicago. Some of the things that we do, we create because why doesn't Bridgeport have XYZ? We create these things because we want our neighborhood to be an awesome place to work and live in. A thing like this is an inconvenience, but it also brings us a spotlight to the neighborhood and also encourages economic activity at a time when I'm not sure what world you're living in. We're entering a very dangerous and weird time where the economy's struggling. Hospitality business is struggling. Your business is struggling. Everyone who owns a business in this room is struggling. So bringing something in here that actually benefits us, gives us maybe an edge for the weekend. Maybe someone's aware there's a hair salon. Oh, there's a new bar here. Oh, there's a cool shirt place. Oh, wow, I parked 3 blocks away and walked by a bookstore or another restaurant is invaluable. And I think that's really important. So would you like to know what businesses I own here, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so my family owns Maria's in Kimsky. I own Mars Community Brewing. I'm also the director of a
Okay,
nonprofit
so
called
you're part of.
Public Media
So
Institute.
you're part of the Ramoa,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I'm not part of the.
That's
Remova.
what you are.
I'm not part of the Remova whatsoever. I just believe in cool shit happening in our neighborhood.
And just to let you guys know,
But
we
you
do a
know,
lot of.
Morgan Street is also part of our neighborhood. Why
You know
can't I
what,
put it
Morgan
in
Street, Morgan Street will have Metal on Morgan someday, or
Pete,
Yeah.
Morgan's Food Fest.
okay, hold on a second. I want to just address this. So you asked, why couldn't it be there? He's the organizer. He would like for it to be here because of the proximity to the theater. Could this event be held there? Sure, that's just not where he wants to hold it. So if he can't hold it here, he's not gonna hold it anywhere in Bridgeport. Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So I just wanna make sure that we.
Okay, then I'm against it.
Okay, I got it.
I own 2 businesses.
Just to let you know, so, we do advertise, Motoblot all over, I mean, basically, all over the world, we have people come from all over the world, Motoblot, because it's kind of a unique motorcycle event. So inside like the motorcycle community industry, nationally, worldwide, we do get a lot of people that get eyes on it, and we will push Bridgeport heavily in our advertising, because we're excited about the, this is where we come, we think this is a great neighborhood.
We got a question right here.
Sure,
It's in
yeah.
there.
Less a question, but as long as you can accommodate the businesses around here, so like, there are people that don't overlap with yours.
Right.
I can tell you that on behalf of the chamber, the Bridgeport Chamber of Commerce, we're looking at doing something the same, whether it be Halsted or Morgan for other events.
Sure.
And I can also say that we've lost out on at least one grant this year because when people wanna give you money to put on events, they ask, what have you done lately? We don't have one in Bridgeport,
Yeah.
right? So that is something that we're looking forward to, whether it's this or not. So I think if we could do this and if you can accommodate the business on that, I think we would be in support. And I think that's something that we would like to get done because we'd like to, this not be the only one.
Yeah, and we were on Motoblot Street for 10 years and we had a great relationship with the neighborhood and with the local businesses and like I said, the only reason that we were leaving was just because the neighborhood was changing and it wasn't gonna be able to happen over much longer. So we were looking for a new home where we think that we can be for, for a long.
Sorry, there's one question right behind you, Ed, who's been waiting
Yeah.
very patiently.
I agree. I think it's silly we keep using this word inconvenience when really the word we should be using is opportunity. Like some of my fellow community members have said, we ultimately having a street festival is quintessential Chicago and is something that I've heard many people talk about, especially as this portion of Halsted, which is kind of the last to develop, is developing a more artistic characteristic. I think it's amazing. My question is, how many vendor spots do you have, like booth wise? And do you have any sort of goal in how many local businesses you want to occupy those booths and any like incentives for smaller businesses to come?
Yeah, I mean, we work really closely and we have in the past. Traditionally, we had about 50 vendors, and I think looking at this layout, it looks like we'll be able to have about 50 vendors again. Here, and that includes like some sponsors and also vendors. And just in the past, we've had many small like jewelry, t-shirt, local artists. That's kind of leaning heavily into stuff that we think that the attendees are gonna want. Obviously, we want somebody to set up and not be successful, but we definitely give the neighborhood like kind of first shot at getting the space before we go outside.
You got some great vintage shops in
Yeah,
the
like-
ward, and
yeah.
there was actually a vintage festival on Morgan that I thought was very successful too. Sorry, and there were more hands raising.
My first question a while ago before I got sidetracked was. Earlier, someone was mentioning is the motorcycles and the scooters that are coming are more like the classic car thing, right? So like if everyone's probably been to a classic car show, it's that vibe of people who bring their babies with them, essentially. And it's not something that's noisy and crazy and people revving and going nuts like they're a motorcycle gang. It's people who are bringing the most heavily invested vehicle in their lives, right, to showcase it to someone.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that, because I remember it was like Cobra. I didn't even know it was called Motoblot when I went.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
So, but anyways, that's the vibe,
Oh,
right?
sure, guys, it's collectors, guys that have, that they have their babies. in
From
the garage.
scooters to motorcycles to
From scooter,
sidecars to
from
whatever,
mopeds.
and mopeds.
Yeah, mopeds all with hot rods and
Yeah.
cars and, it's people that invest in their collection.
And there's a bunch of biker heads in the neighborhood.
Oh,
Moped people, there's a bunch of people who are probably at your thing.
yeah, people will come from all over Chicago and this event, like I said, all over the Midwest. But people from all over the country, and we'll even have some international visitors.
We had one more, another question here, and then the lady over here.
Oh, really, this one's for you, it's like,
Sure.
again. Street festivals are all over Chicago, businesses are all over Chicago as well. Is there anything that needs to like point out to us that's actually beneficial? I know you can say all this stuff, but yes, it happens, but there has to be some sort of data out there that shows that, does this actually do street festivals per business or do they improve?
I don't have access to that right now, but I
Or-
can ask for it.
Or have you said in any committees or anything like that where
I
these
don't-
concerns have been brought up?
I don't sit on the D case, that's who, Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events would be the best to answer that. I'm happy to get the answer. I can speak anecdotally
Yeah.
for Chinatown, and that is a very specific one, I will admit that, right? I mean, you come to China, they're all sort of Chinese related businesses. Everybody sees more foot traffic on those days. This is something a little different, right? So my mom was a hairdresser in Chinatown. She didn't get extra customers when the street fair was going on. In fact, she was still open. She still had customers coming in and out. But I can't say that it helped her business necessarily,
Yeah.
that specifically, but overall, tell you from the perspective of business owners in Chinatown, that they rely on that now. That foot traffic that comes once a year now for 2 days, not just one. Again, you know what traffic is like on Wentworth. I mean, if you've ever come to Chinatown, parking on Wentworth is not a small thing at all. Look, think about the marathon comes through China. I see people laughing because you probably tried to go there for dinner and had to drive around 20 minutes and then went home.
Yeah.
I know, the marathon comes through Chinatown, right? So I mean, different parts of, the city, get the marathon and, that's a huge, and you are trapped. You are trapped, literally trapped in your home if you are inside like the circle. But again, that also brings tens of thousands of people into the neighborhood, whether that's, the bakeries do really well, because people can go in and like pop in and grab a bun. During the summer fair, the shops and the tea shops and the restaurants do well, even though, our Chinatown Summer Fair doesn't have as many food vendors out on the street as it used to, so the restaurants do really well, 'cause now we've got more people selling goods, than actually food, yes.
From working with DK's, I'll help.
Yeah.
There's like hard numbers, it's like, tens, if not hundreds of millions from these.
So it's like, this can't be, this issue has been raised,
Yeah.
given how many.
No, it's certainly not, I mean, yeah.
We've had haircuts on like,
Oh, sorry, right, you were next.
You said it's on today, so
yeah, we got haircuts on the street, we
Yeah.
had like salons do the hair for the pinups and.
Yeah.
Like, we try to include the businesses as part of it, and that's.
And we have a school as well, that's
Yeah,
super,
so that's,
super excited and
Yeah.
participate, so.
Yeah. So here and then in the
Best, what would be, what would you charge for the best? How does that work?
it's it's a donation, because the street
Oh,
goes,
it's free, it is free.
You're wondering, because that's me.
it's a donation, but obviously we need to pay for this event. So what we do is like people that bring their motorcycles in, they have to, I mean, in order to bring your bike in, you have to pay the fee, in order to come into the remote, you have to pay, I mean, the same thing we did at Corporal Lounge, in order to get the wristband to do all the cool stuff, you had to pay the fee to get in. If you just wanna walk in, you can just walk in, because it's the rules of the road. Yeah, so we actually, if you look, we actually put on
So
like.
like, just typical Street Fest Chicago,
Yeah.
is if you need to visit a business on Southport, or on Lincoln Road, the street,
It's
Fest,
a,
you
exactly,
just walk right in.
it's a donation, right?
Now granted, your parking will be a little bit more challenging, but
Yeah, if you're gonna go get your hair done, or you want, you can, people don't have to pay to get in.
But again, it's, as it was mentioned, it's an opportunity.
What is the timeline in June?
But people don't look like, she wasn't quite done.
When you talk about bringing people into the community, we go to festivals a lot,
Yeah.
obviously not the neighborhood.
Right.
We're thinking you get one on every weekend and go to a street
And we
festival.
take
We
tests
want
this
right
year,
here.
we did this one, we were
Yeah.
at Oktoberfest in Lincoln Square 2 weeks ago. We probably visited 6 or 7 other businesses that were not even related to the Oktoberfest.
Right.
So
Just because you went into the
just because it
neighborhood.
went into that neighborhood and we started walking around.
Yeah.
And we,
So Pete, I'm gonna come right back to, there was a question from John on that.
Any idea, I just thought of this, I live on 38th and Morgan, truck traffic, would you be opposed extending it to 37? So trucks understand not to come down Halsted, cause they have to exit Pershing, and either take 38 or 37,
I
to
think-
get to like,
I think we've worked with CDOT to deport traffic, to, Wallace.
Understand.
To go north, but that's when cause we've had, Halsted's been closed since I've been in office, we replaced the whole sewer main and it took out Halsted for,
Yes.
was only supposed to be 3 weeks and it was more like 3 months. So Wallace would be the preferable thing, so we could absolutely cut it off at 37 so that nothing can come past there, so right by the ward office, I think is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, and last year, I went to my first Riot Fest this weekend. And out of all the music festivals I've ever been to, that was the most community friendly, and that would shock a lot of people. Just thinking the type of people who go to Riot Fest. I'm very excited about this. I hope we do this as a community, because Riot Fest's lease with Douglas Park expires in 2027. We got a ton of asphalt down on 35th Street.
Yeah, we do.
I think Bridgeport should host Riot Fest.
I know some people over there. I'll tell you good over.
No, in that, you wouldn't imagine that because that's in London, right? And that, and it was a huge success. So my colleague, Alderman Scott, she invited me to come, and I couldn't make it this weekend, but I'm glad to hear the feedback. I saw all kinds of great posts on social media about people being out there. So there are ways to make this work, right? It doesn't have to be this like us versus them sort of situation. But there are like, I fully acknowledge that there are impacts everywhere. Pete, go ahead.
Is there a possibility to have that one in the middle of June? Because June and July is my school uniform business.
Wait, and we know that?
Okay, because
June, so we didn't talk about the timing, because June is
Timing.
actually when you told me that, you were targeting.
Yeah, we looked at the SAC schedule, we kind of targeted
1920.
19th to 21st.
So after school is.
that's
over,
fine, that's no problem.
That's not-
And if you go towards the end of June,
That's too close to your.
my school uniform, that's my,
Yeah, and I think that there's, wait, I would never allow anything to happen here right in front of your shop, in the middle of your busiest season.
Yeah, we looked at the SAC schedule, which we were lucky to get a advance to look at, and we looked, the 19th to 21st of June was a weekend, and the Sox will be out of town. We'll also try and make sure there's not gonna be the banana ball or whatever.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But, yeah, there's other things that happen at Sox Park too, so
Yeah.
we'll have to look at that.
there are. There are.
But yeah, I mean, we want and like I said, we wanna come back year after year, so we wanna make sure that we establish a great relationship with the neighborhood. Because this is hard to like relocate.
So let me ask you a question on behalf of the neighborhood. Sure. Cause I always get asked, what's in it for the neighborhood? They appreciate people asking me that question. I think the other thing, would you be willing to offer some sort of like resident discount?
Absolutely.
Cause that would be great. I mean, like, for all the people that are around here,
Absolutely.
it'd be a great way to invite the neighborhood in, have some special clothes for.
Yes.
For neighborhood
We'll
residents.
definitely have, work with the neighborhood association and have like a 50% off or whatever we come up with, but yeah, we want the neighborhood to be invested in the event to come to the event, absolutely.
So we talked about parking. Can you just go over that one more time?
So the easy answer with cleaning would be Showers Lot, which is 120 spots. And then we talked to Chris Chris Wong, Mike Joe, and Lee, at Trip Light. And they've said, depending on schedules, that'd be fine. And then the easiest one would be shuttles to and from Comiskey.
Okay. Fletch, I would have a concern about, just security, where the security is posted on the street, right? So,
Yeah.
because you're right next to residential everywhere, and you get off of Halsted. So where the Showers Lot is, you're heading right into Donovan Park. What we don't necessarily want is like revelers to, drinking and like getting onto the park, and there's families everywhere. So my request to you would be to ensure that we have sufficient security covering the parking lot at all times.
Yeah.
Down there, and that we do have a regular schedule of, and I've worked with event people before, so in Chinatown, I can tell you my experience in Chinatown, because my dad is the one that produces that event. And they use, Chicago Special Events and, CSM, CSM. But they have crews that are just all day long. All they're doing is going to empty trash bins and sweeping up. They constantly make the round. So that is my expectation, that continues, so that at the end of the night, you're not just, doing one big giant cleanup, but that it's happening throughout the time. And then we can map out the side streets too, just to make sure someone's at least doing a sweep and like eyeballing and picking things up. So yeah, if you have an interest in being here, you wanna make sure that the neighbors want you back too.
Absolutely. And just on that note, like, I don't know if anybody's seen recent shows, but CPD have actually started amping up their support when we have people coming in and out. So Officer Aldana and Commander Mark have our schedule for every show we have. And they typically have a unit outside, just making sure people, ingress is as efficient as possible and egress is as well. We've already talked to get Officer Aldana and Commander Mark about this event to make sure they didn't have any issues. They were extremely supportive, they were excited about it as well. And yeah, they want to bring the motorcycles down.
Yeah,
But they also here to support.
Yeah, in case, we have to have a good security cleanup plan just to get the permit. You guys know that.
Yeah.
But, we have to have an ironclad security plan, cleaning crew, all those things. In order to get the permit, you have to have a solid plan.
And
We embrace that.
I will tell you, the conversations at city council about street festivals. These are not inexpensive things to produce. More and more, the city is talking about, having, the need for additional support from CPD, and like, there's conversations about trying to get reimbursed for those things. It's not a small thing to wanna do this. I mean, like, I appreciate the interest in the neighborhood because to me, like, we're at a point now where we're risking losing some of those great summer festivals that we just love so much in this city because we can't figure out a way to pay for everything that we need to pay for. So, we're not sending more police to festivals necessarily, but something like NASCAR downtown, I mean, it cancels people's overtime, because that's such a big thing, and that's a huge scale event. Smaller events like this don't take up citywide, police officers, but I'm just telling you that that's the tenor of the conversation that's happening downtown right now, especially as we're going into, budget talks. So my point in all of that is that it's not a small thing that Motoblot wants to be here in our community, and that they want to continue to, the festival here in Chicago and give our neighborhood a try. Any other questions or comments from folks?
I'm gonna stick around if anyone wants to ask me any questions or have a beer with me, I'll do that.
I was gonna say, anybody's on the fence, we got beer in the back.
I'm just gonna recap, so, because we had at least one person join us a little bit later, there was a comment, earlier from one of the Zoom participants. Also keep in mind that it's a timed event. This probably won't go past a certain hour and it shouldn't disturb sleeping hours, and that is absolutely true. Just tell me if I got this right. Friday, probably look to start around 5 in the evening, move everything inside by about 9 o'clock. So that the revelry and this concert stuff will continue on the inside of the Remova, and the fest outside will be winding down and shutting down. And then the Saturday and the Sunday be approximate noon start, but again, ending outside at 9 p.m., moving inside so that the noise outside won't be a problem.
Right, Sunday's even earlier. Like we'll probably go flying outside at like 7 and have meet inside early.
Does the street stay closed at night during the event?
It would be closed for the entirety of the event.
Yeah.
Okay, so there wouldn't be like a
No.
craziness happening driving through the street?
No, in fact, do you have security overnight?
Yes.
Too? Okay.
Yeah, there's 24-hour security, off-duty police basically, stationed both ends of the event and in the event and walking the alleys basically. Just because the vendors, they don't even sit up.
They're not gonna tear down and.
Yeah, the vendors stay set up for the weekend and they, so there's lots of valuable, so we wanna make sure that nothing disappears or gets stolen or.
Jim, Halsted, it might be the quietest Halsted would be at night. No, comments? No, sir. That's not the shocking quiet. Oh, no kid.
So I'm kind of feeling positive about this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. But there's a new comment. Oh, no, it wasn't a new comment. It was just a thumbs up. This is a great opportunity for the community. Thanks for providing the virtual option. You're welcome. And like I said, we're going to put the recording up on the London Port website. I'll leave it open for a couple days just for people to take a look at. I mean, I feel good about the feedback, and unless I hear something crazy, and I know you're up against the clock here, George.
Yeah.
If I can let you know, like middle of next week by Wednesday, I'll leave this, I'll get this posted tomorrow so that it's up for a week, and I'll put a post up about it. If we want to be able to advertise, for what's going on and get as much, interest drummed up as possible.
Exactly.
So, again, I'll make my final decision next week after I've left this out there for other people. So if you have neighbors, that didn't make it or are interested in the conversation or have any concerns, please have them reach out to me. And please have them watch the video or send me an email. I'll post all that information online tomorrow. We'll get the video updated. And I know that, Tyler and Emily and Fletch are here to answer your questions as well. Whether they have to do with Motoblot or not, Emily and Tyler, they hold a monthly community meeting too out in the beer garden, so I would encourage you to join those conversations as well. If you've got, ideas, or just concerns, compliments or complaints, right? That we've seen it all at these meetings, and I think it's a great way for us to together continue to make the neighborhood better and more attractive. And like I hear from neighbors also, we want things to walk to, we want people to come out and just stroll and do things. It was great. I was here Saturday for the coffee, and there was a senior lady who saw some people holding the coffee at the Chase Bank. And she just thought, oh, I like coffee, so she just wandered over to the theater. And we had a nice lunch, she comes to a lot of our community meetings, she should come to this one tonight. But she said, this is great, I love coffee and I'd like to try this, and you know, there was DJ music going on, and that's what we want more of. We want people walking down the street to see someone holding, you know, a cup or something of coffee from here, or, you know, a bag from Bridgeport Records down here, or Boogie Records, or Tangible Books, or, you know, doing the art walk on the third Friday of the month. I mean, like, there's all kinds of opportunities, and I think that this will definitely help to further put us on the map, for folks outside the community, and to give our community more things to do while we're here. Sorry, I kept talking.
No, it was great. Just one, like I said, Tim and I are, as Alderman said, Tim and I are here 7 days a week if you need anything. We'll do, but we post the flyers around the neighborhood for the community event. We'll still have those. The other things, we got a show on Friday with Zepparella. It's a bunch of women that cover Zeppelin songs. It's really awesome. Fletch, I was fortunate enough to have a pretty cool relationship with them, so we got tickets for anybody from the neighborhood. Thanks to Fletch and Motoblot, for this Friday. So if you wanna go, please reach out, and it should be a really good show.
We have tickets at the 11th Ward office too.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone on the Zoom for joining us. I'm gonna sign off now. Thanks.
See you guys.